we're going to keep it tight and impactful, and you're going to see three specific things. So quote the order, how a simple bundled sale kicks off a complex downstream process. We'll show you the DRO, so dynamic revenue orchestration, how a single sale decomposes into multiple provisioning flows across multiple different platforms. And then finally, we're going to show you what happens when we amend those products, and we need to go through that re-provisioning of those products. So what happens when a customer changes their mind and how it all stays in sync. With that, I'm now just going to share my screen and we'll hop into the demo. So I'm going to be starting off from my quote order. So what we're doing is we're starting with a bundled product, and this bundled product is our complete AI suite. There's just 4 products that we've got in the sales catalog, and that's intentional because most SaaS and tech companies want a simplified sales catalog, but the downstream provisioning reality is messy, especially as I mentioned earlier about acquisitions or when product teams operate in silos. So the moment a customer accepts the quote, we trigger the order creation and we automate the provisioning process via the DRRO flow. And that's where the magic starts. Salesforce takes a simple sales construct and turns it into a complex orchestration plan behind the scenes. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at the order that's been created from that. So let's navigate down to my order. And we can see this order again has my 4 products. These are my bundle broken down into my sellable products. And my status is now provisioning initiated. So what happens then from a single quote, I've got a fulfillment section here. So my single quote has broken down, is my order number 1339, has broken down into multiple fulfillment orders. So here we can see the fulfillment orders 555, 556, 557, and 558. So each of these different fulfillment orders has a different provisioning process behind them, different set of processes, a different set of technical SKUs. So I'm just going to walk through the products. So as part of my bundle, I have my Neurobot AI, which is my intelligent assistant that automates the customer interactions and learns from every conversation. So within that, I have multiple technical SKUs. The next fulfillment order is my Sync Voice 360, which is a cloud-based voice solution which enables seamless communications through and regions. So this breaks down into another couple of technical SKUs. We also have my NeuroSecure ID Limited, which is the robust identity verification tool that ensures secure access and compliance across the platform. And if we open that up, we can see that breaks down into multiple SKUs. So we've got multiple SKUs that are going to be going to multiple platforms. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do this so we can see the process as we go through. So come into my fulfillment. Now we can see a fulfillment plan. So this fulfillment plan talks about the different products and the different steps that we need to go through as a business to ensure that we get our customer live. We've got our AI engineering software platform that we need to provision the AI bots. We also have our Sync Voice communications network where we provision SIP trunks, we do all of the telephony side. And then we have our authentication server provider. As part of this product, we also need to create a project in our SA tool for the implementation of the services. So here we can see we've got multiple different steps on multiple different platforms. Some are reliant on other steps, some work independently. And we can see going all the way through to the end, the different steps we need to go through in order to get our customer live and send out the invoice. So that's very good for a visual perspective, but what actually happens as we're going through the process? So I'm not going to be able to log into each of these provisioning platforms to show you because the time will just take too long. We have a very finite amount of time that we're going to go through. But giving you the visibility means that we are able to view everything within a single platform. So we abstract the complexity and orchestrate it from a single place. And let's think about what that means for operations teams, project managers, and customer onboarding teams. Everyone will know exactly what everyone's doing and what happens next. So I'm just going to jump into my order, and within the activity tab, this is where I'm going to go and start to mark off some of those actions as being completed. So first thing we're going to do is verify the custom order details are correct. So we're going to ensure that our KYC documents are ready. Yes, we're happy with that. What that's going to do then is kick us on to the next phase within our provisioning. Within the order, we can straight away see that my status has been updated to AI and voice provisioning in progress. So if I look at that now from a perspective in here, you can actually see that in real time. We've called out to our provisioning platform. We've also called out to our number provisioning platform to start to do the SIP trunks. What we've got is we've got a number of tasks that has been initiated, so we can see exactly where we are with this project, with this customer in real time. So we can see that a project has now been created. We'll now be able to amend or assign project managers and resources to that project. Coming back to our order again, if we just check the activity, I can see that one of my engineering guys, Canal, has got a task to update the AI provisioning platform. So he's going to be creating the instance. But also Cheaton has got a task where he's going to be doing all of the provisioning for the voice. So they're working within their platforms. They don't need to come into Salesforce. It will update automatically. We're just going to mark that as being updated. Now, what happens in real time, we're also going to be triggering status notifications directly from Salesforce. So emails are going to be going out to our customer. We can email them at every point throughout the process. So the customer is going to be informed. Also, our internal teams are going to know exactly where we are because we're looking at this fulfillment process here. Moving through the provisioning process, people are starting to work on their activities. As they're working on their activities, the status of this order is being updated all the time. So we've now moved into a state where we are starting to do the security provisioning. Also within the fulfillment plan, we're also seeing things being updated in real time. Here we go, it's now working. So as we've gone through that, we now need to just finalize the final tasks as part of activity here, which is just to say everything's been marked as complete. Provisioning complete. We navigate to our fulfillment section. And the final part of that will be to generate the invoice. There we go. It's called up. So what we've done, let's now head over to my emails. Okay. Brilliant. We can now start to see the emails have come through as well. So as the customer, I can see that my order was received and they're going to keep me update with as every phase completes. So my AI deployment was completed. Straight away, I was sent an email via the automation. My SIP trunks are ready. So this is just giving me real-time visibility and real-time updates as my different departments are working from different provisioning platforms and different systems. Okay, so what we've done there is we've taken an order, we've decomposed the order lines into an order, into fulfillment orders, and we've then fulfilled those orders. So if I now navigate back to my account, which is Neurovata Technologies, and I come into the assets section. So the customer has now decided, actually, I love your technology. It's great. I want to change my mind. So we've just completed the provisioning process and customer changed their mind. Normally, this would create chaos. But in our model, we've got one amendment that triggers the full re-provision cascade. So again, all of our technical teams are alerted, fulfillment steps are re-evaluated, and new tasks are also generated. And this is what true dynamic orchestration looks like. One change flows through the entire system, revenue integrity stays intact, and our customer experience remains seamless. So how does that look if I actually want to amend these assets? So let's go into an amendment. Let's set that in the future. And what we're going to do now is we're going to create my quote is going to come back, return me my products. And I can now start to configure the platform. So my customer committed to 120 licenses. I'm going to change that up to 200. But also as part of this, they're going to change some of the configuration within this section here. So they're going to update the storage capacity to 2 terabytes. Within the Service Voice Unlimited, they're going to change the call analytics to AI driven. And we're going to update the voicemail storage to 1 gigabyte. And then finally, for the ID limited, we will update the compliance reporting to real time. We'll add in a biometric authentication. And finally, we'll have adaptive AI-based multi-factor authentication. So if I save and exit this, normally you would then go through a flow where you're sending out a contract to be signed, or if the customer, if you're exposing your products and your pricing via any APIs, they can self-serve. We'll kick off that provisioning process again. So I'm just going to mark it as accepted, which creates our order again. Let's go into our order. I'm just going to mark it as provisioning activated, which is now going to create my fulfillment orders. So here again, we see our one order is broken down into multiple orders, and we can see the action is amend rather than add. And if I look at my fulfillment plan on this one, we can see there's different steps. So we're going to be updating the AI provisioning. We're going to update the sync voice plan, and we're also going to update the authentication because there's been changes in the product. Now, because the customer has been connected to all of those downstream provisioning systems, wow, that was quick. It's basically gone all the way through. I've made all of the changes within those provisioning platforms, made them live, and updated the assets back on the customer account. So if we navigate back to the asset, we can have a look at the AI Unlimited. We can view that, and we'll see exactly the changes that have taken place. So we started at 120, we've increased them to 200, but also some of the details around that asset have been changed, and that's been all automated via DRRO. So with that, before we wrap up, here's what we want you to remember. So time to value, you can go live faster with simplified quoting and nimble catalogs. We are solving the SKU proliferation, so your customers don't need to retrofit the catalog. They can connect sales queues to technical SKUs dynamically, and then we can automate that provisioning. So no matter what systems they've got, we can automate that. We can connect via MuleSoft, via direct API. So we sell once and we automate everything downstream. That's revenue orchestration. That's our demo. And that's just scratching the surface. That's the beginning of what we'd like to show you.